Spiritual practices are keeping you stuck. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your girl, Elle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I want to talk about something that has been coming through for me for about 2 years now, and that it is a lot of spiritual practices are keeping you stuck and actually keeping you running from yourself in this continuous loop. And I really want to break this down to the best of my ability and share with you guys my depth of understanding of it from my own personal experience and from witnessing other people's experiences. So, that being said, let's just jump into it. So, there are two major levels that I'm aware of that I also witness in the collective in spirituality. And that is, one is self-awareness. This is crucial. This is when we actually begin to become conscious individuals. We begin to wake up, have self-awareness. We begin to question our reality. We begin to question ourselves. We begin to pay attention to our thoughts. We begin to understand why we act the way we act and why we are the way we are. We begin to understand that there's trauma in our body and that we have these patterns that are keeping us stuck in life. That is number one. That's level one. Within level one are all of these spiritual practices: yoga, meditation, breath work, EFT tapping. All of these things are beautiful. They're great. They're helpful. They allow you to further your self-awareness. But there is a level above that where you don't actually need all of those things anymore, where that you can actually begin to let those things go to free up space for you to become who it is that you're really here to become. And that's level two. So we're going to be talking a little bit about level two today. But I want to preface that a lot of people don't understand spiritual practices are meant to be used in akin to plant medicines. So when we have a plant medicine journey, whether that be on mushrooms or ayahuasca, MDMA therapy, ketamine therapy, any plant medicine, when we go in and we have a plant medicine experience, we're showing, oh, I've got to start doing this thing. Oh, I see myself better here. Oh, I see this problem in my life better. It brings clarity. Okay, that's what meditation does. That's what yoga does. That's what breath work does. Now, granted, I will say that there is an actual biochemical reaction. There is a physiological change that happens when we do breath work, yoga, meditation on a physical level within our bodies. Oftentimes, it is a regulation of our nervous system and a discharging of energy. But plant medicines also do the same thing. They can reconstruct your brain chemistry, your body chemistry. They can also help you regulate your nervous system and release trauma from the body. So that is a lot of level one energy. That is a lot of level one is, oh, clarity. I'm awake. I can see. I have understanding. Now I can begin to consciously create. Level two is consciously creating. Level two is integration. Level two is embodiment. Level two is taking action and actually becoming the thing that you witness in your journaling practices and breathwork practices and meditation practices. It's actually taking action on the things. That is integration. It's when we take action on the call and begin to implement it each and every day, or whenever said thing needs to be implemented, right? I mean, some things might not be every day, but whenever it becomes this habitual thing and becomes an integrated part of our being, our identity, that's when you're working level two energy. That's when you no longer actually need the practices because you're just doing the things in life that you want to do. See, so many of us don't realize that we already have the answer, that we don't need the meditation, the breath work, the plant medicine. We already know the answer. Most of the time when the answers come to those in those states, what it is it's less of an aha moment oftentimes, and it's more of a confirmation of the thing that we already could hear in the faint whispers of our intuition, of our higher self calling. For example, you know when it's time to leave that relationship. You hear the thing that tells you it's time to go, it's time to leave, but it's our patterns and our wounds that keep us there longer. It's our ego who thinks that we can change the person or change the situation. We know when it's time to leave that job. We know what our true desires and hopes and dreams are. It's just oftentimes we have a lot of conditioning and programming that make us afraid of actually embodying that. And so when we're doing these level 1 practices like meditation, breathwork, yoga, EFT tapping, all of these things, what we're experiencing in those profound aha moments is we're experiencing a moment of divine energy moving through us, sparking this initial confirmation of, yes, that's the answer. We're essentially tasting the divine, tasting source, tasting God in these moments when we meditate and we do breath work and we do plant medicine. But the truth is you can experience that connection to the divine through your body every day if you just learn to listen to that whisper. If you learn to listen to that voice, you won't need meditation. You won't need breath work. You won't need plant medicine. Because every time you take action towards that thing that your heart and your soul, which is really that whisper, every time you take action towards whatever it is that that thing wants, your life becomes extremely fucking magic. And it is this intense feeling that the divine is always with you. Because it's that whisper that's your heart and your soul that's actually trying to lead you. That's the thing that we're all here to learn to surrender to, because that is to surrender to the divine, surrender to God, and to let the divine lead you. But we don't listen to that whisper because of our fear and our conditioning and our programming and these cultural ideas that have been programmed into us, these things, right? It prevents us. We also are terrified of the power. We're terrified of letting go of control and letting that whisper lead us, letting that thing lead us, letting the divine lead us. Level 2 in the spiritual side of things is learning to fully be surrendered to that voice, to that thing, to be fully surrendered to the divine, to God. And let me tell you, when you do that, there's a reverberation in your body that is constantly happening. Everything in your life becomes a synchronicity. Everything in your life becomes magical and divine. And I'm not saying that you never get to do meditation or breath work or all of these things. It's just, it doesn't become this form of neurosis, this neurotic thing where I have to meditate every minute or every day for 20 minutes. I have to do my breath work every day. I have to do this. I have to do this every day, every day, every day, every day. It becomes this chore. It can also sometimes become this addiction of running from the truth of what it is that we know we need to do. So we become seekers of aha moments. We become seekers of these experiential experiences. We become seekers because we're too afraid to embody the divine full time, which is level 2. We become afraid to embody that and fully hold that. A lot of us don't actually know how to hold that because it is an immense amount of power. And most of our nervous systems aren't equipped for that. So I will never tell somebody that they're wrong for meditating, but I will question, why are you meditating? How often are you meditating? What is the intention behind it? Is it because of a scarcity? Is it because of a lack? Is it because of a fear? Why are you meditating? Do you fear if you don't meditate, you're bad, or that you won't evolve, or that you won't know yourself, or that you won't feel God? Are you meditating because you think that you're lacking something and need to grow or evolve or do something? I would question why we are doing these level 1 practices, which is plant medicines and meditation, and all these other spiritual practices are level 1. Level 2 is when we can choose when we do those. And oftentimes we do it just for fun. We do it because we're feeling called in that moment. We're doing it because life is maybe just rattling us around and we need to ground down. And maybe we do need confirmation because this life is always going to be about balancing level 1 and level 2. Balancing the new information coming in and balancing the integration and embodiment of it. Because the truth is just when we think we've worked on something and it's gone, it spirals back, because life is a spiral. It is cyclical. It is not linear, and you will always come back. And so life is really about balancing level 1 and level 2. But what you have to understand is that spirituality was never meant to be this neurotic thing, this supplement that you have to take every day, that this thing you need to do every day to find yourself and to feel God. Most people use level 1 as a way to connect to the divine, to connect to God, and to feel that in their bodies. And it's momentary. When you're having a mushroom trip, it's momentary. When you are doing meditation and you get these massive downloads and see these visions, it's momentary. But if you want to learn to begin to embody that feeling of touching the divine, touching God all the time, then you just need to start taking on action on the things that you're constantly avoiding. Most of us use level 1 as a way to avoid ourselves, avoid being in our power, avoid evolving, avoiding advancing forward. And so what I'm bringing to you today is this depth of understanding that just do the thing, just become the thing. Feel this fear, recognize that this fear is a gatekeeper and a protector, right? Because a lot of us, the things that we want to pursue, we've been made to feel ashamed for, we've been made to feel like we're bad for, and a lot of our desires have been repressed. And so I understand that, yes, it's very scary when we want to go and pursue those things. I get that. Boy, do I fucking get that. But you have to also just recognize that that fear is just a wall, and the best things are on the other side of that wall. And that wall is just trying to protect you from getting hurt, but you're not little anymore. You're not a teenager anymore. You're not being told that you can or cannot do that anymore. It's just a distant memory that lives within your body. And the best way to begin moving through that is by teaching our bodies it's safe to go after what we want. And the only way you can begin to titrate your body and show it that it's safe is going in small increments. Perfect example. I was born into a family where everything was this deep survival mode. It was chaotic. There was drugs, there was danger, there was alcohol and abuse, and it was constantly in this survival mode. And when we're in survival, we can't be creative. I made a video about this yesterday. You can go check that out and I'll link it below. But when we're in survival mode, we can't actually be creative. It blocks that because your body is just focusing and your mind is just focusing on surviving. And so the idea of creativity and play did not exist in my house. When I would sing, it would overstimulate my mother and it would bother my mother, which would cause me to repress that because then she would get very angry. We were constantly in this fight or flight, danger, danger, danger. And so I never felt like it was safe enough to ever sing and dance and play and be silly and creative. Now, as a 34-year-old woman, I've been on my creativity journey for 6 years. 6 years ago, I would sing and I would get so mad that I would throw things and I would scream and I'd get angry because I hated the way I sounded. I used to only be able to dance privately. 6 years later, I'm still terrified to sing, but I've now posted videos of me singing. I sing a little bit in front of people now. I dance in front of people. I've done public dance. I've hosted dance workshops. But it's taken me 5 to 6 years of titrating that because it was such a jar to my nervous system. It felt so dangerous for me to enact on my hopes and dreams because of the programming in my body. But each time I take a little bit of action and I become that thing that I want, the singer, the dancer, the coach, the teacher, I show myself and I show my body that it's safe to do so. But if you're not actively taking steps into level 2 and actually taking action and integrating the messages and the learning and the aha moments from level 1, and you're not actually putting that to practice and integrating it by taking action in your life regularly, then you're only going to stay stuck in level 1 in this seeking state, the spiritual seeker who is constantly seeking the divine, but never actually embodying the divine. Level 2 is about embodying the divine. And when we embody the divine, what we're doing is we are embodying and integrating the truth of what we've come here for. And that's going to look different for everybody. For me, embodying the singer and the dancer and the extreme performer, that's a part of what I came here to experience. And when I embody that, I feel the divine just rumble through me. When I get up on here and I speak and I teach, I feel the divine moving through me. I am the instrument in which the universe plays its song. And I feel the divine when I take action towards the things that light me up and also scare me. But we have to do that in order to grow and evolve. And there's nothing wrong. If you want to stay at level 1, you can stay at level 1. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm just letting you know there is another stage. There is another level. And life is about oscillating and balancing level 1, level 2, learning something, integrating it, learning something, integrating it, self-awareness, embodiment, self-awareness, embodiment. And so I'm asking you to ask yourself, my spiritual practice routine, what does it look like? And am I doing it because I fear if I don't do it, it'll mean something about me? Am I doing my spiritual practices neurotically every day out of scarcity, fear, lack? What is the depth of intention that I have with my spiritual practices? And really ask yourself that. What is my intention when I meditate? What is my intention when I'm doing breath work? And not the surface level thing that your brain's going to give you, but really sitting with, what is the deeper thing here? What is the thing that I'm actually doing when I'm doing this? And why am I doing it? And what would it mean if I didn't do it today? What would that mean about me? We all have different goals. We all have a different way of achieving what it is that we want to achieve and experience what we want to experience here. And that's between you and your maker. That's between you and God and the divine. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong. I'm not saying that you're doing anything wrong. I'm just bringing awareness to asking yourself, am I using spiritual practices to actually run from myself? Am I using my spiritual practices and am I actually staying stuck? Am I actually getting somewhere? Am I using these spiritual practices for egoic reasons? Right? And our ego is our identity. Am I doing these practices because people will think something of me? I'm doing these practices because I can make money off of them and teaching them to other people. What is the reason that you're doing these spiritual practices? And are they actually advancing you and getting you closer to the thing that you're truly desiring? And that's the thing too. If you still are somebody who claims you don't know what it is you truly desire, then you're not actually using the spiritual practices right either. Or you're just not listening and truly listening to the depth of that whisper, that soul calling, that heart calling. But I'm betting and willing to guess that you do know what it is, but it just might terrify you so much that you don't even want to admit it. So there's level 1, there's level 2. Level 1 is self-awareness, exploration, learning. Level 2 is integration and embodiment. Which level are you at? Let me know in the comments below.